Hello?
Hello, welcome to the stream.
Oh yeah, I just need to mute the stream. Okay.
Yep, all good. Okay, so we're going to be going ahead and anything else that I should know about the game before I get started here?
No. Everything's on the main page.
Yeah, excellent. I saw that you uploaded a new build to this, to the game just within, well, was that like 15 minutes ago?
Yeah. It's mainly like visual stuff.
Okay, nice.
Like added waterfalls and stuff.
Nice. I also noticed that it's made in Game Maker Studio 2.
Yeah. It's just the easiest one for me. I've tried like Unity and Unreal Engine, but I could never get my head around it.
Yeah, I mean, I use Game Maker myself, although I use the earlier version, Game Maker Studio 1.4.
Yeah, I tried that one before Game Maker Studio 2 came out.
Nice. All right. So I'll go ahead and get the game started here, and I'll also start in with our first question, which is, how do you decide what you're going to make for the jam?
I was playing well, for the first day when the theme was announced, I wasn't planning on doing the jam because I had no ideas. But the next day, when I was getting out the shower, I remembered this game. It's called Bubble Robot. It's like a sock pop. Have you heard of them? The devs, sock pop.
No, I have not.
They make like a game every month on Patreon, and one of the games was like a little robot, and you could like hold down, and its head would come off, and then you could use the head to get into like smaller places because then you'd control the head instead. So that's when I came up with the idea for this.
Yeah, so the central conceit, as anyone I'm sure can see, is that I've got to hit low ceilings to knock off the top part. Is it meant to be the character's head, or is it a hat?
It's like a gachapon, which, you know, like the little balls that you get from like the vending machines. It's just supposed to be like a elongated version of that.
Nice. We've got a comment here from Gals or Gales. I'm glad that you are enjoying the HP format, and I'm more than happy. Is that a friend of yours?
No.
Okay, it might be a developer. Oh, interesting. It might be the developer that we have on later in the evening. But yeah, please remember, if anyone has any questions that they would like to post, please do so, and I will make sure to pass them along to our guest. All right. Is there background music or just sound effects in the game?
It's just very quiet.
Okay, well, I can turn it up. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's more audible now. Okay, so what was your development process like for this game?
I actually started out with the art of the character first, and like, because that's how I usually start my games, because it helps me like imagine what it's actually going to look like. And then I started with the play movement, and then started with the head falling off.
I gotta say, everything about the game, like, everything is just so charming. Like, the character art, the background art, the tiles, even the sound effects, the music.
Thank you. It's like, I always try and change up my style a bit in games, but they're always kind of like cute. So everything kind of ends up looking the same because I just like making everything cute.
Absolutely. Well, I've also just reposted the link into chat now because I see a couple more people are showing up. So if in case anyone is not familiar, they can go ahead and grab the post-jam version, which was just posted within the last half hour. Right. So did you work on the art or the assets, or kind of like both in tandem as you were creating the game?
I usually make the art first, and then I make the code for it, because I've got the idea in my head already. But if I have the art for it, it makes it a lot easier for me to be able to make something.
Nice. Okay. So for this this post-jam version is just a bug fix release, right? There's not going to be any new levels just yet?
There's no new levels, but I fixed some like cheese and stuff, and I pretty much just added more decorations.
Nice. So do you have plans for the game going forward? Are you going to be adding any new levels or mechanics?
Yeah, I think I am. One of the ideas for like a new mechanic would be different hats that have different abilities. Maybe.
Yeah. I love how immediately legible it is, like what blocks are doing what here. The fact that like these blocks are only solid to the player. I'm curious, how did you actually create these blocks? Are you like destroying and creating them, or are you just like teleporting them into place?
What I'm doing is I use pretty much the same code as I would for like a semi-solid, and I just remove like the collision mask and change the sprite.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that there's a kind of a couple different ways to do these sorts of like platforms that aren't always there, aren't always solid, especially if you can predict where the player is going to be when they trigger a change in state.
Yeah, it was like my first time trying to do something like this, because originally these blocks were just going to be, like for the original idea of the game, it was going to be, you want to get to the end because like there's a ride and you have to be like a certain height to be able to get on the ride.
Nice.
But I ended up just making it a block instead of like a story. Because obviously in a game jam you don't have enough time to like make cutscenes.
I noticed that I've made it to the bonus levels now a couple times. These are actually, like, they look continuous, but these are actually individual rooms, right? That you're transitioning between? Yeah. Okay, so you're... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you can.
Okay, well, I was just going to ask, like, you get to this room, and you're always sent back to this screen, which is the start of the bonus levels. But this way you can actually go back through the entire game, right?
Yeah. The only reason that you get sent back to the end room is just because I didn't have time to like make anything else.
That's
like
totally
I was going to make
fine.
like a separate end room, or I was going to make it like loop back to the start.
Yeah, I'm just sort of running back through everything now. And then here we go. This would be back to the beginning, other than the fact that I've unlocked all the keys. So the rooms are persistent then?
Yeah. But for that like hat, because I have the hat like set to persistent when it's on your head, but when it's not on your head, I have it set to be not persistent, so that it stays in the room. Because what I had the problem with first was when I went across rooms and the hat was on the floor, it would just go into the next room in the same place.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. When you make an object persistent, then it's as Game Maker says, oh, okay, you want this to exist in the next room at the exact same position and the exact same parameters. So, totally makes sense. Yeah, Lady Dragon, I completely agree. This game could be totally epic with more development. And welcome to the stream. Alright. Do you have a useful shortcut or hack that you would recommend for other Game Maker developers?
I actually can't think of any. The only thing I had really was the persistent thing, you know, because originally I was gonna like figure out a way to like save like objects with like I forgot what it's called, but like so it could remember where the hat was, and then I just did the persistent thing instead.
Yeah, I mean, persistent is a great hack. Like, for anyone not familiar, Game Maker has a very simplified way of allowing people to just say, like, hey, you know, anything that is, you know, let's call this, what we're currently looking at, this room, this level, this title screen, like whatever you want it to be. Game Maker's architecture just treats it as a room in the way that Unity treats things as a scene, and I don't know what the equivalent is in Godot. But that's the basic idea, is that there are these like static screens that you could totally say that a room is more than just a single screen. Like I've made plenty of games where I just segment the camera and have the camera snap to a new position, and that that transition, you know, it looks like a new screen, but it's all in the same room. But in this case, these are individual rooms that you're going back and forth between. You can kind of tell because if I jump as I'm going back and forth between screens, my Y position is not preserved. I'm just spawning at a fixed position between screens. like it seems quite seamless because of the fact, like, why would it be important for your Y position to be preserved? So, yeah, by making the room persistent, it's saying that any changes that occur, like any keys that are picked up and any doors that are opened, remain so as you proceed throughout the game. You can actually go quite a ways here without your hat or your top of your head, as I'm realizing.
Yeah, I tried making putting blocks behind you in some sections so you wouldn't walk back too far in a puzzle, like if you miss like what you're actually supposed to do. Because in some puzzles you obviously have to go back a room. Like here, I've put them so you can't go back from this room.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what sort of cheeses were available to people.
The ones on, like, the one on the right of the room with, like, the bridge, where you get the key, them blocks weren't originally there, so you could just jump up, pretty much, like, into that instead of using the bridge, which was, like, the main part of the puzzle. So after you got the key, you could just go straight in and jump up. Because I completely forgot how high the player could actually jump, which is, like, 4 blocks. Even though you jump on the other side of the bridge anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, if anyone has any questions in chat, now is the time to ask them. Otherwise, I'll just ask if you had any other shout-outs to other people or projects that you'd like to promote.
I have another game called Goopty Goo, which is just like a platformer. It's on itch.io.
Thanks. I can absolutely pull that up here. I think I'm just about to get through the game. Well, not the bonus levels, but there we go. Yeah, made it to the end screen. So I'll go ahead and open up that other game you mentioned. Goop-de-goo, here we go. Here we go. I'll drop that link in chat so everyone can also try it out. And was this the result of another jam, or is this just another project?
It was just a game I made in a month for fun.
Nice.
I've only ever done 2 jams. The last one was like 3 years ago or something when I was using Unreal Engine.
Wow. I can really see what you mean by having a variety of different art styles and like the style. I see what you mean though. Like consistently cute though.
Yeah. With the Paper Hearts game, it was just like I just wanted to try something new because making pixel art so much was getting boring.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, so Lady Dragon is asking, are you going to keep developing I Gacha Head?
I think so, but it's just I've come in so many bugs that I've been trying to fix. I think I've fixed them all now, though. There was like a glitch where if you hit your head on the ceiling like in a specific way, it would like shoot you down. It wasn't that much of a bug, but I feel like later on it could break something. But I think I've fixed it now. So I'm probably gonna remake the like the beginning rooms and maybe make the camera a bit further out so I can make more things later on. And I'm thinking about more platforming stuff instead of just puzzles.
How are you actually handling the collision? Because I notice I can sort of partially knock the hat off my head here.
Yeah, it's pretty. What I do. This was like a very like game jammy way to do it, but when the hat is like in the block, it like checks if the middle of the block, and if it's like on one side, it just pushes it pixel like the hat just gets pushed out by like pixels until it comes out on each side. But like the hat is just like always following the character's location when it's on.
Oh, are you? So you like this is an actual instance of the hat, and you're doing like a. I'm going to guess like a begin step event on it to move it to match the player's position.
No, because I didn't even know what begin step was before until today when I was googling it. Well, and okay. I changed the character's mask to be taller when it's got the hat on.
Okay, so the mask, the hat itself is only a sprite, and it's the actual mask of the instance that you're modifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, if anyone else had any questions in chat, please feel free to ask them. Like, I got through my regular batch of questions pretty quickly, and yeah, we have our next interview booked at 8 o'clock, but we've got plenty of time until that. So I'm more than happy to keep talking about the game.
Okay. Well, you know the hat when it's like dancing. The reason I like made it do that, like
Yeah.
because like kind of pulsating, is because for some reason like it was showing like 2 pixels on the top when it like landed in a specific way. I guess it's like because the pixels are like in between 2 pixels, so it
Yeah.
was like making 2 of them. So I was just like, instead of fixing anything, I'm just gonna make it dance so you can't notice it.
Yeah, I mean, that totally works. I think having that kind of like, I noticed that like you have squash and stretch applied to the character as a whole. So the waterfalls were things that you added to this level, right?
Yeah. It was just I had it from another game, and I just like reused the code and made some new art for it.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed that when the character hits the ground, the hat is like a pixel above them. And I'm guessing that's because
Yeah.
you're deforming the sprite of the character themselves, but because you're manually matching the hat to the position of the character, it's not deforming to match the character's height.
Yeah, it was, but I didn't mind because like it kind of shows that it's 2 separate things.
Yeah.
In like a normal context, I would mind, but I think it kind of works.
Yeah. Yeah, so the most important thing to note is that you can't bonk your hat off when you are jumping. It's only when you're going underneath a tall ceiling.
Yeah, that
low
was like
ceiling.
one of the main things that like ruined all the puzzles. It was like I couldn't really make any puzzles if you was able to jump through something.
Yeah.
So I had to make like a thing to check if you're like on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I agree, Dr. Tronic. The art style is indeed super cute. So I guess we're looking at a tile set here as for the like decorations around the rim of the level. Did you place the tiles like is it manually decorated or are you like randomizing it?
It's manually decorated. The like towers in the back, you know, like that move back and forth. I was gonna try and make them like just random sprites, but for some reason it didn't work, and they were all just the same. I think I was just getting unlucky with the seeds because I kept changing the random like seed, so I didn't have to manually like change through them. But I just kept getting the same one over and over again. It was random though because I've seen that sometimes it changed, but I think I just kept getting unlucky.
Yeah, I know that the case of Game Maker Studio version 1 is definitely that like the random seed only seems to change on the hour or something like that. Like whatever.
Yeah, I think you have to. There's like a thing. Yeah, I think that is how it works, but you obviously have to do the code to make it randomly, like change the seed each time you play the game. But I tried like setting the seed to be one thing so it would be consistent across players. But for some reason it didn't work, and I couldn't get like a good set of different towers.
Yeah, the towers. You mean like this thing in the background here?
Yeah, that was just something I added, just to put something there.
Yeah, so it's like more than just clouds. All right.
Clouds is something that I always do in like just like a plain scene, because for some reason like my eyes aren't able to track the player when there's nothing in the background. It kind of like blurs, so I was trying to make the background have something moving to help be able to track the player better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, here we go. This is a good example of having the towers in the background.
I mean, it's lucky that the puzzles actually worked because I only had one playtester, and they were only just testing if the game was like able to get to the end, so I wasn't actually able to watch them. So I didn't know it. I had to keep trying to think of how someone would play the game and if the puzzles were even fun. But I had to try and figure out a way to make the puzzles fun, even if you know the solution.
Yeah, I think like it's you know it's not so mentally taxing. It's reasonably intuitive what you have to do. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to execute on this. And, you know, it's at least something that I can actually play through on the stream, as opposed to a lot of other puzzle games that I've tried so far that are like, oh my goodness, I've had a lot of issues. As I'm sure the game that's upcoming, it is Threadbound. Yeah, this one I'm sure is going to give me a lot of trouble because it sounds like there's some really complicated stuff going on with that one. But yeah, at least I was able to fully showcase the game here. Yeah, Dragonator, as opposed to other puzzle games.
I always try to make games. I try to make games short as possible because my attention span is like probably like if I really like a game, I can probably play it for like an hour. So I try and make them short as possible, especially with puzzle games, because I don't want someone to be stuck on something for more than 10 minutes, because that's as long as I would want to be stuck on something.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I know that Dragonator is specifically teasing me here in chat because I was trying his game on the stream last night and had to tune everything else out to try to figure out one of the solutions, which is normally not what I like to do. I normally try to keep a good balance of reading the comments and paying attention to the guest, of course. Okay, well, yeah, I appreciate the comments coming in here. Lady Dragon's mentioning it's a good puzzle, it's not too frustrating. And then Dr. Tronic says, yeah, chill puzzle game. But, you know, I guess sometimes it is fun to watch a stream host get stuck on something and maybe even have the blood boil. It's entertaining in its own way. But yeah, so anything else that you'd like to share about I Gacha Head? I guess I'm thinking of just little fun bits of trivia throughout the development, like, oh, you know, I had to come up with a kind of a hacky solution here that it, you know, just sort of works, but if, you know, don't look too closely at it.
I'm trying to think. I wrote down some notes of things I could speak about, but I can't actually think of anything. Well, to fix, there was like a problem with the blocks where like they would flicker, you know, because your hat, when you're walking into a block, your hat is kind of still on your head,
yeah,
and not at the same time. So like the blocks would flicker. So it kind of made a buffer on the sprites of how much they could change, like just like 10 frames, so that it would stop flickering.
Yeah, that totally works. Just having a hard limit on like when it's allowed to change again. All right. Well, yeah, I guess we'll call it there for I Gacha Head, and once again, I will repost the link in chat so everyone can try out the post-jam version of the game, where you cannot just ease your way through it. Although, I'm definitely curious to see, maybe I will try the pre-jam version at some point just to see how they compare. I appreciate that you made both available.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure, like, because I'm going to update the other one to like have new levels and stuff, I wanted to make sure that the old one was available. And to show how bad the bugs were.
Yeah, so let's see. Player jumping and hitting ceiling, making them shoot down. Player head not coming off when they're surrounded by blocks on each side. Yeah, because it's not just knowing which direction to push it. Fixed back clouds not looping. Oh, that would be interesting. So the clouds just would like go off the screen and then not return?
Yeah, you can see in the screenshots, like the bottom one, it's just white clouds.
Yeah. All right. The charger blocks to fix. Oh, changer blocks to fix a cheese. Tile start of each room to be the correct tile. Oh, this like was one of these not the right tile?
The one at like right in the bottom left.
Yeah.
It's like doesn't loop properly because it's kind of got like an edge on it.
Yeah, I see.
It's like the end one.
Yeah, alright. And then transition an object that would take you to the same room so you're unable to backtrack. Ah, yeah. Okay, so that's just like a level order thing.
One of the comments was like they left the hat in a room, they went to a new room, and then they couldn't go back because it just kept looping them into the same room over and over again.
Okay. Yeah, so it was just a matter of rewiring which rooms redirected you to which collision volumes, I guess, were redirecting you to. We're using creation code in an object to dictate what that was?
Yeah, I just followed a YouTube tutorial.
Yeah, makes total sense. All right, well, congratulations once again on making the GMTK Top 20. And thank you so much for joining me on the stream.
Okay, thanks.
All right, have a good night.
Night, bye.
Bye.